Okay, welcome everybody to the DIY School of Hard Knocks. Tonight what we're doing is as promised, we're painting up this stand for the mini splits. Now it's all been welded up and it's all been prepped for paint. And what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is this metal, when it comes, even though this isn't brand new steel, it comes with this a slight coat of oil on it. And specifically, when I got this steel, it was free. I cut it up, but I also, to preserve it, I sprayed some oil on it, some real light penetrating oil. So in order to mitigate that, what I did was I took a rag and used some acetone. Okay, I took the acetone and I wiped all the oil, every surface, you wipe it off. And got any bit of oil or any kind of residue off of it that would interact with the paint. Now, I spoke with the homeowner earlier, and we've decided to go with black instead of the gray. Being that it's just a base, it will probably blend in a little better the more we discussed it. So we're going to go with the Rustoleum black, okay? And we're going to brush it on. Just a little side tip. You can go to Home Depot and buy these brushes, and you're going to pay the long shot, right? You're going to pay the long dollar for them brushes. For a small job like this, it really isn't something that's got to be perfect. I mean, it's going to be outdoors in the elements. You just mainly want it to seal. So what I do is I don't go to Home Depot. I don't go to Lowe's. I don't go to Walmart. I actually purchase my brushes over to Harbor Freight. A lot of the things that you get at Harbor Freight, you know, can be a deal. I think these were 87 cents. They're a 1-inch brush. Really nice bristles. I've used them a lot. When you're done, you don't have to spend several dollars worth of cleaners trying to clean them out. You just throw them out. They're under $1. So if I were you and you've got a small project and you don't want to waste your time cleaning things up afterwards, you just put it back in its sleeve, throw it in the garbage. It's $1. Without further ado, we're going to get at it. I've got the Rustoleum all mixed up. And what else can I mention about this? Obviously the stand is going to be outdoors. You see how nice that goes on after you put the acetone on it? It really strips it of all foreign materials. Look at that. Ooh, that's nice. Get all those welds real good. Now, I won't be able to reach on the inside of this down through the pipes, sections of pipe, and I've already thought about that. Like, what am I going to do with that? Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to take, and before it's, when it's all dried up, I'm going to take and put some fluid film on the inside of that. And that's going to protect the inside so that the years later, as the homeowner walks around the house and does an inspection of his property, he's not going to see rust running down from the inside. Okay, it's going to be filled with fluid film, which is a lanolin-based material. And I'll tell you, I'm going to do a review on that here in another month. I've got a couple vehicles, and we're going to go ahead and give you a review on the fluid film. And I'm going to tell you something. I've been dealing with rust in the upper rust belt here for my whole life, right? I've had vehicles I wished I could have saved, but you know, at the end of the day, the road salt, they dump so much road salt on these roads that it's impossible to keep your vehicle, even with rubberized undercoating, which is basically, in my estimation, a joke. Because you cover the metal up, but as that type of undercoating cracks, you get this rust from this liquid salt that they're spraying all over the roads. It's like a brine mix, and they put it all over the roads. And it gets underneath that rubberized undercoating, and it actually rots your frame out without you knowing it, and then one day you'll be looking at your vehicle underneath, and you'll have a huge problem with your frame or the structure because you thought it looked good, being that it had that undercoating, that rubberized undercoating on it, when in all actuality it actually got underneath the undercoating and it destroyed the frame or the structure. But with this fluid film, I've been using it for the past couple of years. You apply it with a spray gun, and it goes on, it creeps. It creeps into all the nooks and crannies, and You can certainly go pay somebody to do it. They have it locally around here, and you can pay someone to do it, but it's on my understanding from what I've seen, they do an okay job. You know, they really do. They do an okay job, but they don't do a DIY type of job. You can do it better than they can because you're the one that's going to care about your vehicle more than they do. A lot of these employees, I mean, lately we've seen how these employees would rather sit home and collect that extra unemployment. They really don't want to go to work. And you really don't want someone working on your vehicle, even if it's just spraying undercoating, if they're going to do a halfway job. You know, and that's the whole point of this page, right? Is to try to help people that may be right on the fence about, hey, maybe I could try that. Well, you can try it. I mean, the one thing you've just got to do with any task or job that you run into as a DIYer, you've got to realize if you can have confidence higher than a midget's knees, you can do anything. Yeah, you just think about that. A lot of people's confidence is lower than a midget's knees, and they will never try nothing. They're afraid to try something because they're afraid of failing. Well, I failed a lot with a lot of things I've done, but I always tried to keep maintaining to see if I could improve on it. And those failures turned into lessons, right? Learning lessons. And then you turn around the next time you try it, you know which pitfalls to avoid. So I would just encourage everybody to give it a shot. If you think you can do it, give it a shot. And I think you can do it. But yeah, the fluid film, we'll get back on that. The fluid film really works good. It's not something that the salt is going to get underneath, because it actually was developed for marine applications, right? It's not a once and done type of thing. You apply it every year, right? They have I know locally here towards the Syracuse area, what they do is they spray it on. I think initially it's like $200 to have them spray it on. And then every year to touch it up, they charge like $100 to touch it up. Well, you can buy a gallon of fluid film for around $50. And the spray gun kit with the wands, we're going to go through that in the next DIY when I do that. But that's like, I want to say it was under $100. It might have been like $89. And yes, the initial investment, you're at, you know, like 100 plus your fluid film, so you're at about $150. Let's call it $150. But 1 gallon of fluid film will do your vehicle at least twice. Okay? And the key to getting that fluid film is to, initially what I did is pulled back a lot of the panels underneath the wheel wells and stuff like that. If you've got like arches in your back of your wheel wells, and if it's a pickup, take a horsehair brush or one of them cheap dollar brushes at Harbor Freight, and you get up under there and get all that dirt out of there. Wash the vehicle real good, and then when it dries, these wands you're going to see in the DIY video, one of them sprays 360 and the other one sprays straight. You can get in the cab area, you can get in the rockers, you can get all up under the frame. All the areas that the salt is going to try to creep up in, you're going to go ahead and see how we spray that. And over time, if you just did it once, it might take a year or two, but that would eventually wear off. And what you're trying to do is keep it that same amount of fluid film on it each year to keep all the little areas coated. And then you'd never run into the situation where the salt has an opportunity to erode and eat at your investment. So we're going to do that DIY. I got that coming up. And the thing is with that is you want to put that on. You want to spray that when the weather is somewhat decent. You don't want to do that in the cold weather. Now, I had a little pancake compressor that I was using for the first year or so. And now I've got the new Ingersoll Rand. It's a 60-gallon Ingersoll Rand. I got it from Tractor Supply. And it's got like an 18.1 CFM at 90 PSI. So it's a really good rating. And I think you're going to like that video set we do, because I've got a good friend of mine. He's going to bring his truck over, which we initially did it when he bought it. And a lot of times, you know, if you're buying a brand new truck or a car, I mean, from what I'm hearing, some of these estimates that they're charging people to undercoat their car is $1,200. It's astronomical. $1,500, $800. And like I said, a lot of these places, they will do it, right? They'll undercoat it if you're going to go with the fluid film system. There's places that'll do it, but will they do it like you would do it? That's the key. It's sort of like when you're putting fluid film on, it's sort of like not everybody wipes their ass the same way, I guess you could say. Some people do a good job and some people do a poor job. So I'm the type of person, I like to wipe my ass with toilet tissue, and then I like to actually use a wipe or two to verify that it's clean. So that's the type of person I am putting fluid film on. I like to get in all the areas that need to be got at, and I like to make sure that it's done 100% so that I know when a person leaves the shop that they can drive through whatever elements they want that year, and it certainly is not going to destroy their vehicle. And then the next year they'll bring it in and we'll touch it up. So we're going to get to that video set, but right now we've got this stand just about all painted, just from me talking to you. And we're going to go ahead and put one more coat on it. But as you see, it's looking nice. It's looking real nice. We're going to put one more coat after this dries. And then we're going to go ahead and put a little fluid film down the channels. And she'll be good for many years to come. I hope this helped you guys out. And I hope you look forward to seeing that fluid film video, because that one's really going to be beneficial if you live in a Rust Belt area. You're going to wish that you did that video, and you may even want to refer to it later on after we show you how we put that fluid film on. I think you're really going to like it. So this is Bry over here at DIY School of Hard Knocks. We've got this just about wrapped up. And oh, one last tech tip I was going to give you for the day. Earlier today it was kind of humid out, and I went to put some of these gloves on, these rubber gloves. When you're dealing with acetone and these other things, you don't want that going directly into your skin, so you should wear gloves, right? Well, I went to put these gloves on, and it was so humid out that my fingers were sticking, and you could barely get the gloves on. So immediately I just ripped them off and threw them in the garbage, because once they get a little moisture on them, they're toast. Here is a trick to putting these gloves on in the humid weather. Bingo, just a little bit of powder. Sprinkle a little powder inside them gloves, and they slide right on like no one's business. So, all right, this is Bry over here at DIY School of Hard Knocks. We will catch you later. Get out in your shop and get something done. Quit sitting on the couch. Let's go.